And of course, it's time to do business here on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Bromit. Look at our stories now. And Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has jumped to the defense of the Bank of Ghana, saying the central bank in the past has remained prudent, strong, resilient, and functioning effectively. According to him, this has been barely noticed until the interruption of unprecedented global events. Here's more in this report.
In an article titled, "Standing Strong with the Bank of Ghana," Mr. Ofori-Atta said, "Our central bank's assets have grown almost in tandem with the size of our financial sector and economy. From 53 billion cedis in 2016, the bank's assets have grown by nearly 1.5 to 126 billion cedis as of the end of 2022. He added, "The foundation has never been conspicuous as revenue has more than doubled since 2016. Again, the size of the economy has also more than doubled from an economic size or value of 219.6 billion cedis in 2016 to an estimated 610.2 billion by the end of 2022. Furthermore, the finance minister said all can attest to the progress made in digitization, infrastructure, among others. Mr. Ofori-Atta continued that the vision for and progress in social mobility and economic freedom is often in budget conflict with short-term macroeconomic volatility, and therefore Bank of Ghana should not be blamed for the economic challenges.
Economist Dr. Patrick Esume has expressed uncertainty about the prospects of the reopening of the domestic debt exchange program, arguing an expenditure cut could have prevented the second round of the DDEP. According to him, this action by the government contradicts the Minister of Finance's own assurance that there would be a second round of the DDEP. This, he says, indicates government is struggling to restructure a substantial amount of its external debt. Dr. Esume spoke earlier on the marketplace.
It's quite problematic when, we seem to be doing some back and forth and to be flip-flopping a little bit. So, at some point, it's clearly communicated that this is done, this is good, we are good to go. And then suddenly it comes back. And then sometimes you get some rumors that this is coming back. And then, there's some denial and it comes. I think all of those are not helpful in terms of, the policy communication. I think it just tells us that, the government definitely wants to reduce the debt as much as it can, and it won't shy away from imposing more of the burden on Ghanaians. I think I won't describe this as a very good move. I think, there are different things we can do to bring down the debt. We've done domestic debt exchange. We have to grow the economy. And then we have to cut the size of the deficit. So if we had cut the deficit substantially for this current year and going forward, maybe it wouldn't have been so necessary to come back to do domestic debt exchange. Or if the economy was growing as much as it could have, this wouldn't have been necessary. So I think that it's a reflection that other things haven't gone as well as they should have gone. And, for me, I would have preferred that we probably focus a little bit more on expenditure cuts. Because don't forget that this more DDEP actually hurt the financial system.
Now, prices of diesel and liquefied petroleum gas are expected to go up by 1% and 4% respectively from Saturday, 16th September. That's a projection by the Institute for Energy Security. However, the price of the petrol is likely to remain unchanged during the second pricing window. The impending increases are coming on the back of an increase in international market prices of diesel and LPG, coupled with a 0.97% depreciation of the cedi to the dollar during the period. Here's the Executive Director of the IES, Nanamwisi, the 7th.
The IES has been monitoring the Standard & Poor's platform and over the last 2 weeks, and found that the price of gas oil on the international market went up by 3.3%, moving from about $930 per metric ton to $943 per metric ton. The price of LPG also moved up from $557 per metric ton to $570 per metric ton. And so the price of these key products on the international market has gone up as induced by the rising crude oil price. The last 2 weeks, we had the average price of crude oil going for about $84. At the close of the window, it went around $92 per barrel. And so these key changes are some of the things that's informing the decision. We also realized that on the local forest markets, the cedi depreciated by close to 1%. And so anytime you are looking at the direction of fuel prices, you may be mindful and be concerned about how your forex is doing or your cedi is doing against the US dollar, the greenback, as well as the international price of these key commodities. And so international price of fuel has gone up and the cedi has depreciated. That's reflecting the impending price increases.
Now, in line with government's vision to build a strong industrial support infrastructure for export and job creation, Big for Sure events under the auspices of the Ministry of Energy is set to organize the Power Energy Ghana exhibition here in Accra. Here's more in this report. The Power and Energy Expo will bring together stakeholders in the power and energy value chain in the West African region in Ghana, hosting close to 100 exhibitors. Project Director for the exhibition, Thomas James, said the power and energy sectors contribute significantly towards income generation of the country through electricity exports, hence the need for more opportunities to grow the sector.
This is an exhibition wherein exhibiting, promotion as well as dialogues and learnings and negotiations at a different space. Investment negotiations as well as business negotiations, both are possible and avenue is there. So we welcome people who are looking forward with a broader mindset to come forward and be part of the exhibition and explore different and varieties of opportunities that are available. Explore it. It's an opportunity that this country has, and it's the emerging one in the West African zone. So wherever the emerging countries contribute, there is opportunities for different space, not just in one limited sector. The opportunities are there in the food and beverage sector, similarly the power and electrical sector, energy sector, renewable energy, similarly in the building and construction infrastructure sector. So this is one of the major aspects that is required for the value addition in the economy.
On his part, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Obeng, called for private-public partnerships that will bring together manufacturers to help achieve government's export substitution agenda.
You know, government have been talking about import substitution, where we are thinking that very soon most of the products that we import is going to be substituted by local production. Means, therefore, we have to start taking advantage of this phase to meet up with the manufacturers, where we can partner with them to achieve this goal. So it is very important. This is how the direction should be, that most of this fair, we are also able to talk through how we can migrate from trading to manufacturing so that we can substitute these imports that we are talking about.
The International Exhibition of Power Energy Electrical Sector will take place from the 11th to the 13th of October 2023 here in Ghana. Now, World Trade Organization has announced that it will provide the needed financial and technical support to Ghana to help the country take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. There are fears that Ghana might be one of the few countries in the region that might struggle to realize that associated benefits of the Trade Pact. Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says the support will also cover other African countries.
The World Trade Organization is currently undergoing some reforms to make it more relevant to its members when it comes to trade disputes and negotiations on issues around trade. But this has left more developing countries worried about how this reform will pan out and whether they will continue to still have a voice at the table whilst their interests are protected. But speaking at engagement with journalists here at the headquarters of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi assured these member countries, including Ghana, that there is no cause for concern.
Then we talk about WTO reform. As you know, you must have heard about the, sort of, not routine, but, the normal kinds of reforms going here to make committees work better and WTO function better. Those are going well. And, we are compiling the reforms. Many countries have, or many members made suggestions.
She also announced that they are working out a package to support African countries when it comes to the free trade area to ensure that they take full advantage of this trade pact.
The AFCTF, the very important agreement that we have on the continent, which we know, I don't need to give you the numbers, is expected to deliver benefits. What we've tried to do from the WTO is to help build capacity of various countries to implement the agreement. So some of them have approached us and we're working with them through the AU. As we speak, I think we've spent about 3.3 million or so Swiss francs trying to help countries build capacity upon their requests.
She also been making some passionate appeal to Ghana to sign the fisheries agreement to ensure that fish in the ocean is protected.
We're looking at several things. The first is the entry into force of the first fisheries subsidies agreement. Why is this important? It's good to negotiate an agreement, but getting it to enter into force is even better. And for the fisheries subsidies agreement, where we are saying that our oceans are 50% overfished. So this is one reason why we are fighting very hard. So far we have 43 members who have ratified. We need about 110, right? And so we have quite some ways to go, but already the pace, it's gathering pace.
But for some people out there, they'll continue watching the WTO to see what will happen at the end of these reforms and ensure that it will come out stronger or weaker in terms of addressing all these concerns. From the headquarters of the WTO in Geneva, Switzerland, this is George Yaffe reporting for Joy Business.
And here in the studio, I am Beverly Broom. We do some more stories now. And founder of defunct UT Bank, Prince Kofi Amoabin, is urging small businesses to ensure that they have a good corporate governance system in place. According to him, such a system is critical to attracting investors to the business and will aid in growth. He was speaking at the third edition of the Africa Business Innovation Forum.
The third edition of the Africa Business Innovation Forum focused on exposing small businesses to multinational corporations to network and find ways to expand and develop SMEs in the country. The forum was themed Building Structures that Propel Businesses Beyond Their Immediate Market. According to the founder of defunct UT Bank, Prince Kofi Amoabin, a good corporate governance system is critical for the growth of small businesses.
The governance structure has to be right to fit the company and where the company aims at going. If we want to go external or regional or whatever, you have the kind of governance structure that will support the movement to those markets. Publish accounts, and it should be transparent account. Don't hide monies. Don't take companies' monies, because you need to build a company that's viable. You can only assess a company through its financials. So if you're hiding money, people won't see the company and its real worth, because they think the company is small, but you know you're making a lot of money. So if you really want to grow and grow into other markets, as we say, transparent financials, great auditors, renowned auditors, so that people will not challenge what they are saying. It's very critical for most people, but because people don't want to disclose fully what they are sitting on, they tend to find auditors that they can actually control, and the financials are incomplete, but you can't sell those financials, so you are shooting yourself in the foot.
Chief Executive of the Africa Business Innovation Forum, Precious Gao, mentioned that his outfit is committed to helping small businesses in the country to navigate the difficult economic regime.
This is the third edition, and for me this is very unique because of the times we are in. Looking at the difficulty, the economic uncertainty, this is very unique because of the theme, reset and rebuild, building structures that propel businesses beyond their immediate market. We want to empower small, medium enterprises to be the solution to the problems of this country. And you know, in these times, supply chain systems of corporations are being challenged, what is happening in Russia and all the areas. Ghanaian businesses needs to really be up and doing and be the solutions to the problems we have in this country.
Small businesses were also urged to be innovative and strategic to expand their ventures.
Now, the absence of certification and requisite skills among procurement and supply chain personnel is the cause of infractions noted in the Auditor General's report. That is according to the president of the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, Simon Annan. He observes procurement processes are continually used to siphon government's funds. This was revealed at an MOU signing between the Institute and the Department of Construction and Technology Management.
The signing of the MOU is to bridge the gap between the industry and academia. It is to ensure training given to procurement and supply students are in line with industry practice. President of the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply, Simon Annan, says procurement in the country is seen as mere buying and selling, but his outfit is ensuring professionalism is upheld among procurement practitioners.
Because if we take procurement and supply chain out of the equation, the country will continue to suffer. But in our part of the world, procurement has seen as mere buying processes, and most of our infractions in the Auditor General's report are attributed to procurement. And currently we have about 70% of the infractions in the Auditor General's report attributable to procurement. And why that? Why that? Because the people practicing procurement don't have the requisite skills. They don't belong to a professional body that certify them and give them the training. So GIBS, as I said, is here to ensure that the professionalization agenda is actually actualized. The people practicing procurement and supply chain belong to a professional body where we certify them, where we train them, and then also regulate them.
Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosua-Dixon, lauded the institute and deems the exercise mutually beneficial.
This mandate that we have as a university in training transformational professionals, not just for Ghana, not just for the sub-region, not just for the continent of Africa, but also globally, we are unable to get it right all by ourselves. We need to partner with those of you in the industry, because it doesn't work when we stay here and do the theories and leave the practical aspect out. And therefore, when you say we should collaborate along the lines of training, along the lines of research, along the lines of ensuring that we train the 21st century professionals, then you have really touched on the nerves of KNUST. And that resonates very, very well with what we stand for. So we say Akwaba.
For Joy News, Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
Now, the country representative of United Nations Population Fund has made an appeal to the public to patronize locally produced products to boost the economy. Speaking on the sidelines of the Fashion Expression Project, Dr. Wilfred Okan indicated that patronizing clothes designed and made by Ghanaians will go a long way to support small and medium enterprises in the fashion industry.
International needs Ghana in partnership with UNFPA, the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency, and the Prada Group, a reputable player in the fashion industry, implemented the Fashion Expressions Project. The project is a unique fashion training program that seeks to advance and mentor aspiring fashion professionals as well as equip them with the necessary tools. Here is country representative of United Nations Population Fund, Dr. Wilfred Okan.
In this meeting, we've been able to bring diverse group of stakeholders. If you've seen, you've brought people from the private sector, especially the fast fashion industry. We have brought development partners from the embassies, from the UN system. We have brought also the government and the public sector, those who consume maybe produce uniforms and large products. Our intention is that all this group of people will find a meaning and a space for their contribution to continue with this program. I can already say that one of the partners, the private sector, has said we want to sponsor the next cohort of young people of this just here at this meeting, and we hope to continue reaching out to more partners to be able to sponsor this. But we also appeal to those who produce uniforms to give an affirmative action, give orders for the making of their uniform to these young people so that they get the initial capital to set them up for the market and the bill out for competition.
International Needs Ghana organized a fashion show to climax a one-year intensive training in fashion for 18 women. Executive Director of International Needs Ghana, Cromwell Awade, is optimistic the beneficiaries would make good livelihood with their skills.
We had 18 wonderful ladies whose lives have been transformed through this project. 1 year of training, 6 months theoretical in Adidume, where our center is, and then another 6 months with fashion brands and fashion homes here in Accra and then Tema. And we've seen young women, vulnerable, who were brought from all kinds of places in the northern part of the country, in the central region, in the Volta region, in Greater Accra, whose lives have been transformed through the training, who have been empowered through all forms of education, including reproductive health and reproductive rights.
Here are some beneficiaries.
The fact that there's this initiative that trains women to be employable is great. So I was more than happy to be a part of it, to do my bit in making sure that at least we have a small percentage of women who can now have a trade, go on, do great things, train other people on their own, and employ people down the line.
I'm very excited because it has given me the chance to become the fashion designer I want to become. I have learned fashion in 1 year, and today I am on my way to becoming a fashion designer.
The Fashion Expressions project, which is being piloted in Ghana and Kenya, aims to leverage the socio-economic power of fashion as a vehicle to promote women's empowerment.
And that's all for Business Tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. I leave you with news making headlines on the international front.